what do the civilians not feel some type of way that, okay, so this money exists and you guys have never used this money?
So but what needs
for us?
It exists. It's always existed. If they don't use that money for Burna Boy, somebody is going to put the money in the pocket.
Can I just say, I just feel like, here's the thing, as a Nigerian man, and the way we are, is that when we give a gift, we give a gift. But I just feel like the onus is on the woman to understand that if we break up after 2 months, and
you can't be driving my Bentley.
You can't be driving my Bentley.
Shout out to my brother, Chairman AK, and Davido's brother. He posted on Twitter and said, any man that's taking a gift back from a girl is a sucker.
Yeah, you are a sucker. Women are better cheaters than men.
Damn.
65-70% of the time, it's because we have reached our limit with you. You've given us enough reason to be like, you know what, this guy doesn't even appreciate me. Let me just go teach him a lesson.
Damn.
You're listening to Adesanya Live, the Afrobeats Podcast.
Welcome, ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, to another edition of Adesanya Live, the official Afrobeats Podcast, where we break down the headlines within the African popular culture, myself in the studio, alongside some of my celebrity guests that help me chop it up. Always, you can subscribe, like, share across all platforms. That's YouTube, Apple, Spotify, Deezer, the whole nine. We appreciate the support. And you can also catch us on Yanga Television every Saturdays and on Mondays. That's 7:30 p.m. on Saturday and a repeat 7 p.m. on Monday on Sky 186 and I believe Freeview 171 or something like that. Isn't it?
That is correct.
Exactly, that's correct. Now, some of the headlines we'll be looking at today will be Burna Boy's homecoming concert in Rivers State. We'll be looking at the Nigerian actress that's playing an iconic role for Aretha Franklin in a miniseries. And of course, rapper Quavo and girlfriend Sweetie breaking up and people asking the question if Quavo should take back his Bentley. And D-Boy, well done there. And we'll be talking a little bit deeper about UFC superstar Israel Adesanya under fire for rape comments made towards a potential opponent and lots more. Now, before we get into the gist of things, we'd like to talk to you about Shoobs.com, our partners here on Adesanya Live, the official Afrobeats podcast. And Shoobs is the leading discovery hub for Black culture experiences, bringing you the latest events, music, and news. With Shoobs, you can discover and buy tickets to the best events happening in your city to satisfy your every need. If you're on a hunt for bottomless brunches, the latest Afrobeats concerts, or just a banging night out, Shoobs has you covered. Now, Shoobs is at the center of all experiences. Whether you're an event organizer looking to sell out your event or looking for the perfect event to attend, visit Shoobs.com and get Shoobsing right now. Let's get into the news this week. But before I do that, I would like to introduce my celebrity guests. As I said, to the extreme right is my brother, a returnee here on Adesanya Live, the official Afrobeats podcast, a broadcaster, a radio and TV presenter, a producer, a commentator. Is the man D-Boy Dio. What's going on, brother?
Yo, what up, D-Boy Dio? Nervous, D-Boy. Back spilling drinks everywhere. Apologies, but thank you for having me for the second time.
That's fine. And in the middle is another industry colleague of mine, a presenter, a host, producer, working around the industry. Check Out Africa is now the stable. It is Zenita. Am I right in pronouncing it perfectly?
Zenita. You said it perfectly.
Nah, thank you very much.
Thanks for having me.
Brilliant.
Congratulations as well. Congratulations. This is epic.
This is nice, isn't it?
Yes, yeah. I love it.
Big ups.
Thank you very much. So we're going to start in Nigeria, where it's been reported that Rivers State, which is the home state for Burna Boy, has put together a homecoming concert to celebrate his Grammy win and doing the state proud, basically. The event will have other glorious citizens of the state in attendance and performing, such as Timaya and Duncan Mighty, to name a few. It was also reported that Burna's bill for the performance is something in the region of 100 million naira, which should be probably around $260,000. And it includes a private jet to and from his destination, which some members of the public have called too exorbitant. Lady and gentlemen, what are your thoughts? We're still in celebratory mode. Nigeria picked up what I would call the World Cup of music and entertainment in the Grammy Awards with Burna Boy and Wizkid. His home state in Rivers State has decided to celebrate him after a lot of criticism, we've got to say. You know, there's been a lot of people in the media, personalities saying that the Nigerian officials and government have done very little in recognizing the feats of Wizkid and Burna Boy, especially at the height of the creative industry. If this was football, this would be probably the same level as the World Cup.
Absolutely.
But it isn't. However, the state apparently are putting together a homecoming concert where Burna, as his team has requested the sum of 100 million naira. I don't see anything wrong in that. What are your thoughts?
For real?
Ladies first.
Yes.
Okay, so congratulations first of all to Burna Boy.
Yeah.
You know, it is well deserved. Business wise.
Yeah.
It was well deserved. He put a lot of work into it. I do believe that his first album, African Giant, deserved a Grammy more than this album, Twice as Tall.
We've talked about it a couple of times, but yeah, everybody thought African Giant was a classic album. I don't think that can be argued.
That wasn't his first album, though.
Yeah.
Not his
It was the previous album,
Yeah, previous album.
Yeah.
Also, I don't understand why he's getting paid 100 million naira when the country is celebrating him.
Okay.
Do you know what I mean? Like, you're celebrating me. Okay, cool. I won. Yes, you can pay me something, but like $260,000 is a lot of money. And I mean, the government could put that into like establishments to build the community, or to invest in some of the artists that already exist.
But they're not doing that,
Do you
though.
know what I mean?
Okay.
But they're
D-Boy,
not
what are your thoughts
Yeah.
about that?
So-
The only problem is with that, I think it's because maybe they might be a little bit of corruption. So that's why, he's like, you know what? I'm going to get money. Do you know what I mean? And maybe we don't know what he might do with the money. He might just say, okay, he's going to start his own establishment.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? To support, Nigerians.
Local talent.
Yeah.
Absolutely. Fair enough.
What are your thoughts? D-Boy?
Well, in all honesty, you said like maybe there's a little bit of corruption. Little bit is pretty much a
I'm
huge
trying to be
understatement.
kind.
Understatement.
I'm trying
Like,
to be kind.
in my opinion, they should pay him 200 million. Why not? He's a Grammy Award winning, like Shopsy said, he's literally brought the World Cup home. Like, these politicians, if you look into what they're earning and what, the people in politics in Nigeria and the government and what they earn, like, let's look at it like, are they going to use that money if they don't pay him to reinvest in the economy?
Absolutely not.
Are they going to invest in the youth? No, they're not. Pay him the money. Pay him the 200 million. If it's 100 million he wants, pay him the money. 200 million, pay him the money. He has brought the World Cup home, and he deserves everything he's getting right now. So I don't see a problem at all. The money's there. They can definitely afford it. They can afford to give him that private jet. Give him the jet.
My thing is this, right? When it comes to the celebration, if it was a situation where the state in itself had continuously or consistently backed Burna Boy at every level of his career, where they've invested in him and they've promoted him as a son of River State and what he's been doing, even though he came from there, then it's a situation where people can say, all right, great,
Give back.
I'll give back, I'll come perform for free. Nah, the only reason why Burna Boy is being celebrated today by that community is because he brought home the World Cup in the Grammys. So now, let's look at it properly. It's a homecoming concert. You want me to come perform. You want the government or, the politicians to come and stand on stage, grab a microphone and say, this is our son, give him maybe the key to the city, take some pictures, win over some of the youths in that city. You're going to pay me for my time.
Absolutely.
And right now, as a Grammy Award-winning superstar, the bill says 250,000 plus a private jet.
Pay up.
If you're ready to rock with me, you better make sure the jet is fueled and that cash is deposited in my bank account. Other than that, I'll make a concert in my city myself, call it a homecoming concert, allow people to come watch me for free. Those that have supported me from day one, and I'll perform to them for free. But the reason why the government are involved right now is because of some brownie points.
Yeah.
They want to, appeal to the youth that have been on social media criticizing the way different levels of government has responded to such an incredible feet. That's why they look like, yo, let's get it done. And if you look at it, $250,000 for a superstar that's selling out arenas in Europe and the United States or America, that's nothing. I saw Lil Baby announced a couple weeks ago that his booking fee is $500,000 right now.
Yeah, that's true.
I mean,
250 chop change.
250 is nothing, because you know, they just as important as Lil Baby is to rap music and hip hop, Burna is the Afrobeats and Afropop culture. Okay. So nowadays, and you also have to look into it. One of the things that we forget is that even internationally, when you see Jennifer Lopez performing at the inauguration for the president of the United States of America, she got paid.
Yeah, she did. Yeah, that's true.
If you see Alicia Keys singing, "Oh, say, can you see?" she got paid.
Yeah, that's
true. So even though they're very
a high note there, I like
even though they're very patriotic and they support, you know, the initiatives, and they're very passionate about their country also ensures that they pay them for their time, their talents, and their efforts. So if this is that slap on the wrist for our government people to know that, yo, now you're going to come to me and want to flex with my own Grammy Award, you better make sure my management is happy with that pay.
Okay, but don't the civilians or the citizens think like, okay, so if you guys have this amount of money to pay an artist, then how come you guys haven't been investing back into the city or the youth?
Well, they do have that money. I'll tell you something else. As an ambassador of a city or a state, wherever Burna Boy goes now, he talks about the fact that, you know, Port Harcourt is home. River State is home.
Yeah.
He becomes an official ambassador of tourism for that state. $250,000, $300,000 to promote a state to international tourism is nothing. Countries and states spend millions of dollars on PR and image consultants that put advertisements say, visit Port Harcourt on CNN. And that costs a whole lot of money. The amount of traction that they can get from a Burna Boy, always doing interviews talking about Port Harcourt and how beautiful the people are, you know, the river state and how welcoming they are. Listen, it's nothing. And that's one of the reasons why I've always been passionate about the young Nigerian or African musicians, because they have become unofficial ambassadors to those countries.
Okay, well, Shopshay, you're not really answering my question. I said, what do the civilians not feel some type of way that, okay, so this money exists and you guys have never used this money?
So but what needs
for us?
It exists. It's always existed. If they don't use that money for Burna Boy, somebody is going to put the money in the pocket. We're going to talk about
it's not going to go back
but
into.
Who's keeping them
it's not going back into the economy.
Yeah.
It's not going back to the people. If they don't pay Burna Boy, that doesn't mean the money's going to go to the people.
And apart
it's not
from
going to
that,
go to them.
when you pay someone like Burna Boy, or what you've seen, like artists in Africa become superstars internationally, what they've done is they bring people back home to those cities where people can actually spend money on the streets that affects the people even more than the government. So ultimately, by him going for a homecoming concert, doing interviews on CNN, Channel 4, and BBC, he is doing a better service for that 250 thou than any government official would have done. We'll be talking about South Africa anyway. And you know what they've done with some of the money in that arts community anyway.
Yeah, we definitely know about that, yeah.
Well, speaking of Nigeria, British-Nigerian actress and singer Cynthia Erivo has just starred in a mini-series playing the great music icon Aretha Franklin. Now, Cynthia, who is an incredible actress and singer, who has received some of the highest accolades in her industry, such as the Tony Award, a Grammy Award, an Emmy Award, and has received 2 Oscar nominations as well. The actress has a knack for playing iconic roles after playing Harriet Tubman in a movie and now Aretha Franklin in the miniseries too. Born in Stockwell, London and raised in the UK, she has gone on to take Hollywood by storm, and at just 34 years old, the future for this lady can be nothing but bright and full of more success. This is probably the second week where an African actress is at the top of the echelon. We know the lady from South Africa that was in Nomzamo.
Shout out to you, sis.
That's in coming to America.
Yes.
And this is another African, actress that's also
British African.
But her African heritage is like super strong. And Nigerian heritage is extremely strong. What does this say for, African creatives, even British black creatives, that at the heights we're seeing, the brother from Uganda being nominated for an Oscar Daniel Kaluuya. We're seeing John Boyega picking up a Golden Globe Award.
Yes.
We're seeing this consistent.
Sister,
talk to me about when you see another level, at the top with these people doing their thing.
If I may, I think for me, what I see is when I, read stories like that, I think it speaks to, the sincerity in British actors. Now, when we look at like sort of the Daniel Kaluuyas, the John Boyegas, and how they've been able to transition into Hollywood, you've got to commend them for being able to change your accent. Because when you go to Hollywood, you have to speak. Have you tried to speak another accent and make it and let someone
Believable.
make it believable? It's something that that in time I remember Samuel L. Jackson made a comment about British actors coming into the
they still
States,
bring it up,
and people still bring it up. So I think. One of the things I think is that for being an actor, your role is to present someone's story and allow the viewer to get into that experience, to believe that experience. And like, shout out to Cynthia, she does that very, very well.
Yes.
So, like for me, it just shows the level of, the creative level and how much they put work into their craft. And congratulations to her, man. South London girl. First for me, of course, the African heritage is strong in her, but just repping South London, repping London herself. I love that. I love it.
Yeah, I think it's amazing. And picking off from what you said about Samuel L. Jackson, how come they can't do African accents?
How come they can't do British accents?
We can even switch it over. Like, I mean, Idris Elba is a
that's
great,
another classic.
Yeah, Idris Elba, John Boyega, and
David Oyelowo. There's so many.
Yeah, there's so many
Arnold
of them.
Ocheng. There's so many of them, man.
And the funny thing is, some of these British African actors are also not just playing African American roles. They're playing iconic. David Oyelowo played Martin Luther King.
Yeah.
And Cynthia is playing, Aretha Franklin.
Even Chiwetel Ejiofor. There was so long before I knew Chiwetel was
Harriet
actually
Tubman.
British.
Yeah.
Like I didn't realize that he was British for a long time. So. You just have to commend them, man. You have to take it.
She was asked the question as well. She was asked that question of you being black British and, what are your thoughts about the people that question the fact that you get these roles ahead of some of the African-American actors and actresses. And she said, first of all, if I walk into a room, the first thing they see is a black woman. Without my accent, without my heritage, the first thing they see is a black woman. And that is someone that, is going to face the same discrimination that a black American woman will face. Is going to face the same discrimination a black American actor will face. So we have the same experiences. Now, as an actor, like D-Boy said, my job is to transmit the role that I've been given as best as I could and to tell the story to the best of my ability, which the directors have, or the casting directors or whatever have selected and say, yo, this is it. She said after her, I think during the Harriet Tubman press, she was being interviewed.
Yeah.
And someone asked her that, what's your favorite song? And instead of telling the press person what the favorite song was, she decided to sing the song, which was an Aretha Franklin song. It was on a red carpet. So she was walking through and she sang the song. And that was it. The next morning, she got a phone call from Clive Davis.
The next morning.
She's got a beautiful voice.
She won a Tony Award.
An amazing voice. Yeah.
And that, for me, I also think that is another level where you were asked the question, but you decided to go a step further by actually singing the song. And you don't know who's watching.
It shows to go, like, when an opportunity comes, like, you never know when an opportunity will come. Like, always be prepared.
Yeah.
Pick her up, man.
Someone else who said something about, being asked about, the British, you taking roles of Americans. Daniel Kaluuya actually wrote it down. He said, there's a history. He said, I don't even see myself as British. He said he understands the reaction to him playing Hampton, because he's playing Hampton Hampton in the
Prince Fred Hampton.
Yeah. Telling Screen Daily, there's a history of African American era Shaw as someone coming into their country and portraying a person that fought for them and represented them. I'm open to hearing it. He also said that I felt the responsibility just to, in terms of what he meant as a man, I didn't lead with, oh, I'm British. I don't internalize that perspective on me, especially when building a character. So I think Americans should kind of get over the fact that, you know, British people are kind of taking their roles. Especially they should also understand that, you know, British Africans don't really get the roles here in Great Britain, and they should understand that is also a form of racism and oppression in a way. So I think if Americans were to be more open-minded and actually do research and read, they would realize.
Shots fired.
But I'll be honest with you. I think with Daniel Kaluuya, his answer, that response was probably the best response that I've ever heard any British actor give. And that response even took me, but I was like, damn. I thought about it for a second, like, he came from a different angle. That I'm not coming to disrespect you. I'm not going to add to the trauma that you faced as an African American for hundreds of years. I'm your I want to hear you. And I want to understand why you think that I'm not part of that community, or I'm not worthy of that.
So just to add a little nugget into that, I think one of the things that, you know, some of the narratives I've heard and I've seen online is usually, well, with regards to Daniel Kaluuya anyway, and the Fred Hampton story, is that how much that story means to the Black American experience. And the Black Americans, they feel. You said the David Oyelowo and the Martin Luther King. I think there was a little bit of, not much of an outrage as much as there was ones. Those are huge. But there were people saying, like, these people are not, you don't understand what that means, but what they don't understand is they don't understand the Black British experience. And what they fail to recognize is that, you know, as much as that, you know, they see a disconnect between the Black American experience and the Black British experience, but what they can't see is that there's a lot of similarities there. And we relate to their experience so much so that, you know, we can go over there and play those roles because it needs the actor to actually engage and really understand that person or what they went through.
Once you're there, how about us also projecting the Black British experience to the rest of the world a lot more than people have seen in the past? I think Top Boy is doing an amazing, you know, an amazing job at showing. I've heard broadcasters in America say, "Yo, I didn't know y'all had hoods."
Hoods,
You know, so I think
we ain't soft,
exactly. So, is it on us here in the UK to find more opportunities to tell the Black experience stories? But again, it comes back to the situation that there are not opportunities.
Okay, I just want to say that, but Joan Boyega is doing a fantastic job because now he's got a production company where he gets to, you know, he's in collaboration with Netflix and he gets to like produce a lot of films. So I feel like, you know, we are taking the opportunities and, you know, creating opportunities for other Black people to also tell their story, even if they're from Great Britain, whether they're African, whether, you know, they're American African, like Black people. So I think we creating our own opportunities, you know. I don't think that we should wait for people to say like, okay, we're going to create an opportunity for you, because even he's not just creating opportunities for, you know, Black people in this country, but he's also making our economy strong, which is what we want anyway. You know, we should stop like wanting handouts. You know, I don't believe in, you know, rebellion as much as, you know, like when people go and protest all the time. Sometimes you need to learn the business, and sometimes you may not know the business, and maybe the white man or someone else has gives you an opportunity to learn the business. And then once you learn everything, then you can equip your own people to do that. So I think we should get out of that mindset of like, oh, we need opportunities from people. We need to start creating our own opportunities for ourselves.
Can I just say though, just to add a little something to that, I do feel like there are a lot of people that are equipped and are in a position where I feel like they should be given opportunities,
but they're not given
opportunities. So in the same, absolutely, I totally agree with what you're saying. There are sometimes that where people feel that, you know, we're underrepresented and they haven't done the groundwork. But in the same light, even more so, I feel like there's a lot of people who have the necessary experience and they're not being given. Like, I'll just mention Rapman. I don't know.
Rapman
did Shiro's story.
Yeah.
Like, he went out and he was very like consistent with the way he put out on YouTube. He was very consistent.
And he received a lot of backlash here, and in America they praised him.
Yeah, and then then he did Blue Story, which went crazy.
Yeah.
He had a collaboration with Jay-Z.
Yeah.
Now also, I don't know, you said John Boyega. Also, Rapman has a collaboration with Netflix as well.
Yeah.
Which is, it just goes to show that there is a process that you have to follow.
Yeah.
There is a grind that you have to follow, and there are people that are equipped to produce, and people need to be given opportunities, and people need to be taking
Another thing I actually saw on social media, I can't remember which social media personality or someone, there was a lady that said something on Twitter that said, not everyday gang stories.
Yeah.
Can we get some more black stories?
I think it was a black British presenter. I don't want to say
yeah, she said, and I'll be honest, when she said that,
you thought
you
like, sat up a bit.
That's true.
Yeah, that's true.
Where are the romantic black stories? Where are where are the comedy black stories? Where are the thriller films? Where are those that? Even though the guys and girls have done an amazing job with some of the knife crime, gang-related movies and series, but what about the other side? Because we are sharing the stories and teaching our brothers and sisters across the pond that we've got this too.
Absolutely,
you know?
Yeah, I understand, but I think it's also because that's what we experience in this country. A lot of us were not from like West. We didn't come posh. For some of us came from Africa. Our parents worked really hard. You know what I mean? So, and we were exposed to things that unfortunately we shouldn't have been exposed to. So, people always argue, especially these people in these positions, always argue that they telling their stories, and obviously, and unfortunately, not a lot of us have experienced like the beautiful side. We've just always made something beautiful out of the ugly story. Do you know what I mean?
That's deep.
So
that is deep. That's deep. That's real deep. I totally, I get everything you're saying, but I do feel like there are romantic stories that we can speak about. We can speak of black celebrities. Like there's so much stories that can be created. We look at America; they've had it rough as well. They've got they've got More Better Blues, Brown Sugar. They've got all these black rom-coms. Like we
Love
need to
Jones.
Love Jones, exactly. So they've done it. We can do it as well.
Absolutely,
That's true.
That's brilliant. Now staying in the States, where this past week rap stars Quavo and his famous girlfriend, I don't know how to pronounce it. Is it Saweetie? Is it Sweetie?
Saweetie.
I thought it was Soweto.
Saweetie called it quits after controversy over her comments on a TV show where she spoke about agreeing to a threesome with her man and out of respect allowing him to pick the man to join them in the bedroom. Well, once the show hit the net and a few back and forths between her and Quavo, the pair said their goodbyes publicly in true 2021 style, announcing their split on Twitter, wishing each other the best in their future relationships. After their separation, social media went crazy. As just recently as December, Quavo had gifted her a brand new Bentley as a gift, so fans on social media argued whether he should or shouldn't take his $250,000 gift back. Do we start with the lady?
Of course. I really want to hear her opinion. And you see...
No. Why does he have to take it back? It was a gift. No. Why are you taking it back? It just shows how sorry you are. You cheated on me and then you want to take the gifts back.
It's not official. Actually,
exactly.
She said, she was the one that said on Twitter that, the love doesn't mean anything when the intimacy is shared with other women. But there hasn't been an official.
Okay, allegedly cheating. Okay? But intimacy, what does intimacy means
several things to different people. To some people, it could be sexual relationships. Some people, it could just be the fact that you're sharing this much time and,
intimacy is subjective.
Yes.
It's subjective, so.
Okay, but no.
$250,000.
I'll ask you a question.
He got money.
Can I ask you a question?
Why did he buy it? He bought Birkins. It doesn't mean that she didn't buy him stuff as well. I mean, the first gift he got her was like a classic car. I think that was the first gift, and she wasn't that rich then. Do you know what I mean? So it's like they've been passing each other. I think she even got him a Richard Mille. That's 200,000.
Listen, he bought her a Bentley.
You're talking Richard 500,000. A Richard Mille is 200,000.
Okay, can I ask you a question? Yeah. If you were dating a guy, I don't know
how long.
First of all,
I think they were together for like over a year.
It was like a year and a half, 2 years. And he bought you a Bentley.
in December, just 2 months
like
ago.
the other day. You bought your Bentley, and it just so happened that it's not working. Would you give that Bentley back?
No, I'm not giving it back. A gift is a gift.
Wow.
And he was making up for something, obviously. And plus,
Why?
it was her
Why?
birthday.
Oh, he wasn't making. Why?
What
Because
makes you
she
think
said
he was-
it. She said it.
She said, gifts don't make up
No,
for...
but
Exactly.
the Bentley wasn't. He wasn't making up for
That
something
was
with the Bentley.
for
That was-
her birthday.
Yeah, that was birthday gift.
I
That was for her birthday.
Can I just say,
Please.
I just feel like, here's the thing, as a Nigerian man, and the way we are, is
Yeah.
that when we give a gift, we give a gift.
give it.
But I just feel like the onus is on the woman to understand that if we break up after 2 months, and
You
I just
can't be
bought
driving my
you can't be
Bentley.
driving my Bentley, or you're driving my Bentley to go and date your new guy, or you're driving my Bentley to his house. What kind of nonsense is
Do
that?
you know what?
Nah,
but
nah,
you
nah,
guys
nah.
wouldn't even like it, Seth, if we just gave you the Bentley back and
No,
say,
I'll
"Okay,
like it. I'll take it back. I'll take it
That
back.
is a lie.
I'll
You
take it
people
back. I'll take
have
it back.
pride.
Listen.
Don't lie, especially
Listen.
Nigerian men. You people have
Listen.
pride. Do not
You do
lie.
have
My pride is that I
You
won't
do
ask
have
you for the
pride.
Bentley, but if you bring those keys back, I will take the car back. I'll
No,
return it
but
to
you
the
guys were
dealership.
speaking about Quavo. He got money. He's got investments. They have buildings. They have products. Like
Yes.
they've made, besides a little baby, but they've made QC
Yeah.
a lot of money.
I'm not being
they
funny.
make a lot
Yeah,
of
I'm not being
money.
funny. No matter like anyone will tell you. Yeah, I'm not in that position, so I don't know. When you're in this particular tax bracket, yeah, I understand that you have money, but anyone no matter how rich you are, yeah, rich is subjective as well, but $500,000.
Car.
Like I don't
Like a month
okay,
ago.
who you
I
are.
bought you a
500
Richard Mille
grand.
watch that is 200,000, and there's
friend.
many more gifts that she has
Soweto,
given him.
Soweto, return the car.
All right.
No.
now, so wait.
Soweto,
Wait.
return the car.
One of my guys, shout out to my brother Chairman AK and David O's brother. He posted on Twitter and said, any man that's taking a gift back from a girl is a sucker.
Yeah, you are a sucker.
Them man are in different
You
tax
are a
brackets.
sucker.
Shopsy, you're talking about HK and David Doe and those people are in a different tax
Listen,
bracket.
Even if you work in McDonald's, if
Hey,
you
Mio
take
Mo.
your gift back, you should be embarrassed.
Listen, this is the thing. That's what I'm saying. Taking a gift back, yeah. There's taking gift back and taking gift back. I'm saying like, look, listen, we're talking about a house. Like they're not married,
That's
you know.
a house.
They're not married.
We were just dating for
We were just
1.5
dating for
years.
1.5 years. You bought
I
a Bentley.
gave you
I'm
a
not-
Richard Mille that cost $200,000.
Listen.
A man anyway is supposed to spend more money than me.
Oh,
Yeah.
Okay, let's talk about that. Why is that?
We're gonna go into
You gave me
territories
500.
here.
Okay, I gave
So
you a
why is a
but
man supposed to spend more money?
Saweetie gave Quavo a $200,000
$200
watch.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's 200,000. That was a gift for him.
Yeah.
Okay, and then you give me a 500,000
Plus
car back.
we've also been spending
You know,
extra stuff,
Birkins and stuff,
Birkins
but
all
I'm
that.
buying you jewelry as well. I'm doing things for you at home. I'm being sweet. I'm pretty. On the GQ thing, she wears lingerie every day. That costs money. Changing lingerie. She wears different lingerie every single day. Like, come.
So obviously, as a Nigerian man, I won't ask for the car back.
Yeah.
But listen,
If she
decides to keep the car, it will pay me. It will pay
if
me.
she keeps the car and I see her flexing
Flexing,
a new
yeah,
man
flexing
in
a new
there.
man in the car.
Nah,
That'll pay
that's
me.
the
Yeah,
problem.
I won't
But
ask for
why
the car back if
why-
she's
listen,
flexing with it.
We're talking about Saweetie. It doesn't mean
Saweetie,
this
you
is
ain't
someone who
flexing.
dated P Diddy's son,
Yeah.
Prince.
So,
before
so-
Prince had money, she's used to money. Her parents
So
are not
wait,
poor.
if she's used to the money,
it's not like she's a
but-
broke
but
girl.
that's the point.
She graduated at USC. He knew what he had. That's
if
why he
she's
gave
used to
her
the money,
so
she should
much
give the
money.
car back.
No, it was a
Okay,
gift.
how about just pay me the cash then?
It was a gift. D. What?
What
So
part
you
of
guys
it don't we
take gifts
understand?
back.
We don't.
We don't.
You know, I ain't gonna be sitting around and
So
seeing
what's-
some other guy, next guy in that
Flexing
Bentley.
in my
The next
Bentley.
guy, in fact, will not feel comfortable being in a Bentley.
Oh.
The type
Oh,
of
some
guys don't care.
Wait. But we're talking about the tax bracket that she's in.
Yeah.
No man that she's gonna date is gonna be broker than Quavo. Okay, that's firstly. And that man will probably be like, screw that Bentley. I'm gonna buy you a Lambo truck or
So let's sell the
a
Bentley
Rolls Royce.
or give him back his
No,
car.
keep it in the garage because I don't even know if me and you are gonna last, even if you buy me a Rolls Royce. Okay?
That's one of the issues. Now, the second issue that apparently or allegedly led to the separation, which people are still contesting or not, is the fact that she was asked a question on that show if she would give her man the opportunity for a threesome, and she said she would if only he allowed her to pick the man.
Yeah.
And the fact that she said picking a man
Yes, because he knows no man is going to do that. That's why she done that on purpose. I watched the actual show, Just in LA. I love him. He's so toxic. But she was like, okay. She struggled with that question for a while. She was trying to think for an answer. But she was like, okay, then let's pick the man. Because she knows no man is going to want to do no threesome with another man.
Absolutely. I feel like, and if I was Quavo, I'd be a little bit upset because there's no need. I feel like she threw a shot, and the shot wasn't a shot, but it was like she could have avoided the response. All she needed to say is like, we ain't doing no threesomes. But for her to now say, "Oh, if he's picking a man," is almost like saying, "I'm saying that's never going to happen," and also telling my man at the same time. And there's no need. There's no need for that. She didn't. I don't think she needed to do that.
But
personally.
let me put this question to you, which I saw a guy say: if she had said, "Okay, cool, if I pick the girl, then that's fine," nobody would have complained.
Nobody would have complained.
But actually, women would have complained. We would be like, "Oh, why are you selling yourself? So why do you have to bring a third person in the bedroom? Blah blah blah." You know we were. I'm against threesomes, especially. I don't really. If you're single, you do whatever you want. Yeah, sin is a sin. Yeah, but when you're in a relationship, it's like. You're opening up a door to many things. People can come back and say you raped them. People can come back and say, oh, you might even like the other girl more than me.
Yeah, man, I'm not doing any threesome anyway.
We've seen those type of situations.
It happens.
You see, so just opening backlash for no reason. That's why I'd say the same thing. Okay, if you want to threesome, choose a man. And then if you dare bring that man, I'll think, okay, you don't love me. How can you share me with another man? That means you don't love me then.
She wasn't... the bottom line is that she's saying pick another man. It's not going to happen. She's not having no threesome with another guy. That was a shot to say, look, that it's not going to happen. And my man knows it's not going to happen. No man...
But Quavo went emotional on Twitter straight away. I thought you were a different girl.
No, but that was
he felt disrespected.
No, that was
what?
Yeah, his cousins as well were on Twitter saying, "Oh man, you don't know this girl. I know her."
No, it was his sister that went on. Yeah, but even the sister, she should have shut her mouth because this has nothing to do with her. It's between A and B. If maybe she was coming, it's like if me and you're in a relationship and we're going back and forth. He shouldn't come and speak for you. It's between A and B.
I agree with that, though. I do agree with that. I feel like it's between
no cousins should come and say nothing.
Especially, I totally agree.
A lot of people believe that once you're in a relationship, family members also.
It's a family relationship. I feel like
in a marriage, do you do that? Do you now bring your mom publicly to come and defend? No, because
she didn't need to get involved. She didn't need to get involved. I think it's still the relationship is still a young relationship. It's a year and a half. But I feel like in that case, no one should get involved. Let them two sort it out themselves. I feel I definitely feel she was disrespectful, and I'm being objective here. I feel like you can't say something like that live on air and expect your man not to feel some kind of way.
But that was not the reason why he felt some kind of way. She tweeted first and said, okay, I feel like I need to tell everybody that we need to stop pretending. And because we had such a public relationship, I owe you guys an explanation. Me and him are no longer together. Because this started when she unfollowed him. She unfollowed him first, and then
after the show, though it was after the TV show.
No, apparently no. She done the show. Apparently, when it aired, she was already on, and she was quite respectful on the show because her ex was there.
Yeah, that's why she was.
Do you know what I mean? So she was respectful. So as long as you say,
even the fact that you're there, ha with your ex, I'm not with that anyway. I mean, we need to talk about that. The fact you're there, kiki kaka. Nah,
there's no kiki cut. It's business.
And then he's sitting down there when they put some.
And he was also respectful.
They put some uncomfortable questions
there, and they didn't really answer. They didn't really answer.
Man, because my man's thinking. You know what I'll be thinking? That my man's thinking. Yeah, man, I had her first. Listen. I'm not with that.
That's immature.
Yeah, I agree.
Yeah. That's very immature.
I agree.
So you're trying to tell me that if he was my ex, and now we're doing it, so I won't come and say this is business.
Yeah, but
we're chopping money here.
Yeah, but it's the question.
Yeah, even if the question, apparently Prince's best friend, the guy that hosts the show, didn't even know that they had history because it happened so long time ago. They were still in college when they were still dating.
I find that hard to believe that he didn't.
Okay, that's fair enough. I also thought that's a lie, but at the same time,
in that kind of situation where we're talking threesomes with your
even
ex.
Prince was afraid
on
to
TV.
ask questions, and even Saweetie was like, "Are you pressing me? Why are you so pressed?" And he was like, "No, I'm not pressed. I'm just asking a question because that is the type of show it is."
Yeah, I know. That's the type of show he is. And the fact that I think for any man, like you said, I'm a Nigerian man, I'm proud as hell. You know, at the fact that you're there with your boyfriend, your ex-boyfriend, that's cool. But now you're talking about sex and stuff like that with your ex. I'm watching it on TV.
Exactly.
Come on,
okay.
Jigga.
I can understand that part, but still.
And then he's there cooling.
Nah.
Oh, but how about you doing intimate things with other people, and then you have a problem with me doing an interview, and it just so happens that that's my ex?
Give me the Bentley back.
Can I ask you a question? Do you know Soweetie?
Saweetie.
So I'm I'm
here to stand up for the girls.
You are riding for her.
No. I'm not just riding for her. I'm riding for all women. Okay, you guys are so entitled. Like, why?
I'm
Beyonce is able to be in rooms in Grammy Award rooms with Jay-Z's exes. Like, and listen.
Yeah, but she also made sure her sister kicked him in the balls whilst they were in
when he was misbehaving. When he was misbehaving.
And she let that happen.
She could have
stopped that.
You saw the way she was just cool and calm in that video.
Why would I stop it if you are misbehaving?
And the sister
in all honesty, I'm trying to be objective here. I'm not being funny. I feel like if someone asked Quavo that question and said, you know, if it was the shoe was on another foot, I'd expect him to respond.
I'm not gonna lie, he's burning. Did you see? She said, "Take care."
He's burning. That one was hurt. That tweet. That was the
Take
one
care.
that hit me.
Yeah.
It's good. You guys should get a taste of your own medicine. We don't need you. We want you. I'm here for a good time, baby. Not a long time.
Oh, my gosh.
Anyway, we're going over to New Zealand.
Where'd you find her, Chelsea?
I knew she's a troublemaker. I knew. Now, over to New Zealand, where UFC superstar Israel Adesanya caught some heat for comments he made in a tweet to a rival, Kevin Holland, after being taunted by the fighter on social media. So the much-loved Israel Adesanya responded on the social media to the taunt, saying, in quote, "Bro, I will effing rape you," end quote. In the since deleted tweet. Well, the government officials and sex abuse organizations have come down hard on him for his comments and the use of the word, with New Zealand Deputy Prime Minister Grant Robertson calling for the UFC to discipline the fighter. Israel has since apologized, saying his comments crossed the line, still learning and growing under the spotlight, and vows he will learn from his big mistake. Where do we go with this? Rape is one of the most horrendous crimes any human being can commit. And the thought of the use of that word, especially nowadays, also carries that type of responsibility because it triggers a lot of people. It brings out emotions. It's one of those words that 50 years ago, wrongfully, people would joke around with such words. But nowadays, with the advent of social media and the awareness that a lot of people have, people have put so much effort in making people understand how heavy those type of words are. How bad is this for someone in such a position to have been loose with a word like that?
I think. Sorry, do you want to?
No, go first.
I think for me, it's a teachable moment for Israel. Like, and in the fight game, especially, when you're speaking to an opponent, there's always you're always, I wouldn't say under pressure, but you're always at a point where you want to promote the fight, and sometimes it's like you say stuff out of tune. You say terrible stuff, and it's like, I'll do this to you. I'll go into the boxing game. There's a Nigerian boxer, I've forgotten his name now, who does when he's what's his name? I can't remember. The heavyweight boxer, the Nigerian boxer from North London.
Oh yeah, Lawrence Okoli.
No, not Lawrence Okoli.
Anthony.
No,
Anthony Joshua.
okay. I can't remember his name anyway. I remember anyway.
Joe, the British
the
guy.
one that just won the world.
He's Nigerian and he always wears the British flag on his face.
Yeah.
Anyway, like when he promotes a fight, sometimes I feel like he almost goes to the edge. Do you know what I'm saying? And one of the things that these guys have to start doing now, unfortunately, we're in times where like you have to start taking account for the things that you say. When you say things like rape, and it hurts me a lot because I actually really like Israel Adesanya. But it's one of these things that I like that he's admitted he's wrong. He's apologized for it. But unfortunately, I feel like he probably still needs to be disciplined by the UFC just to show that they are taking a stance to it. And the reason I say this is because there's some other things here that have happened. I use things like, racism. When that happens, I want them to press the full law on anyone that's racist.
Absolutely.
Do you know what I'm saying? I
anybody that says anything that appears
racist. I've said it a lot of times on social media. It shouldn't be. No one should say they've apologized and let it go. No, it can't be let go. They need to be punished. So in the same vein, Israel unfortunately has done something, and I like exactly what he's done. He's acknowledged he's wrong. He's apologized for it. He's said, look, I still need to learn. But at the same time, unfortunately, I feel like the UFC do need to maybe make an example, unfortunately.
Yeah, I think especially with when it comes to men and there's a lot of gender-based violence.
Yes.
I think men need to start stepping up and holding each other accountable. So I'm really happy that you guys are actually saying that. I don't believe in the cancel culture though, so I do believe that he should be held accountable. He should pay the price, and maybe he could educate himself on you know what I mean, and then we move on.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Well, it's like you said. It's time for us to start holding each other accountable.
Yeah.
Everybody's learning. That's one of the things that I like to tell people, that nobody's a finished product. Especially with men and maybe even black men coming from Africa, where certain things have been normalized in front of us, and all of a sudden we're having to unlearn these wrong teachings and starting to bring on the right level of understanding and respect and teaching towards our friends and family, women in general. And I think this is another moment for people to also understand, like you said, a teachable moment where this is a public situation, and people like myself and D-Boy can learn from that.
Absolutely.
And say, boy, that was definitely bad, and this shouldn't be said. This word shouldn't be used. People have to respect that. The fight game is a very, very testosterone filled game where people say anything. I've seen David Hay came with two pictures or whatever of severed heads of the Klitschko brothers back then. To the press conference. So people do horrendous things and get exactly to the edge of what really is right or wrong. But nowadays, I think with organizations, with the law, with the amount of awareness and exposure that everybody has, it is time that people keep that
I think you should also use this as an opportunity, especially rape among men is not something that is publicized or given enough platform. So I think he could twist a negative situation into something that is positive,
where he
to
goes
make it
deeper and learns about that.
and awareness about obviously rape against men who are not comfortable to talk about rape and stuff like that.
And sorry, and I know I compared it before to when someone says a racist term, and I want them to be really punished. The difference is, I felt like maybe that was a wrong comparison, because I feel like the difference is when someone uses sometimes racist terms, I feel like most of the time they're inherently racist.
Yeah.
But when someone uses a term like what Israel has done, doesn't mean to say he's a rapist. It means that he doesn't understand what he said, or on the impact of what that might have had. And he's probably he's clearly in the moment. He wants to promote the fight. He's passionate about what he said, but at the same time doesn't make it right.
So
it's very wrong. He needs to,
he's done the right thing, apologized. Now it's time for education, rehabilitation, and also use his platform for the right type of awareness. Now, over to South Africa, where a popular former MTV host and radio personality, Sizwe Zlomo, stated that he won't leave his wife for sleeping with another man. The media personality stated this after an industry colleague and presenter, would you like to pronounce that name? Mpo. Yeah, Mpo. Mpo. Where presenter Mpo tweeted about Jada and Will's Red Table Talk following allegations that Jada was in an entanglement with one of my favorite singers, August Alsina. Now, Mpo said that no other man would have been able to see through the conversation, adding that she believed most men wouldn't even want to be in the same town as their cheating wife. Well, Sizwe, however, responded that he would stay and try to fix their relationship if his wife was genuinely remorseful. Nah, he said in quote, honestly, I would. If it would depend on whether she still wants to be with me, but I'm certainly not leaving my wife just because she slept with another man. If she's sorry about it, nope. Real talk, he said, there's so much that I'm hoping to do with my wife. I can't just walk away from all of that because of sex. No, shake my head, he added. Now, Sizwe made it clear he was not lying or trying to score some brownie points with the women with his tweet. He also responded saying, my dude, let me tell you something. And I'm not even stunting when I say women have liked me since day one, since I was a baby. I've never needed to cap or simp for it. This is honestly just how I feel. I also don't need to impress anybody, so I don't see what my motivation would be for capping. He admitted cheating is violent, but said that sometimes it's just a mistake. Trust gets eroded every day. It also gets rebuilt every day. How many things have you done that eroded your girl's trust in you? He queried a tweet. Now, man, he further said that he would not tear his family apart due to pride and to prove a point to strangers. If she really demonstrates that she is sorry for it and still wants to be in with me, what are you living for?
Preach.
D-boy.
Hey.
No cap.
You're the next. You're the only other guy in this situation. My brother said he wasn't leaving his wife for just sleeping with another man. What are your thoughts?
First of all, I think they used an example there of Jada and Will. And the thing is, like, Jada was actually, they were separated. So she didn't cheat. Technically, she didn't cheat on Will. They were separated.
That's what they said.
That's what they said.
But they still lived in the same house.
They were separated.
Yeah. But they still lived in the same house.
That's what they said. I'm going to take them for their word. That's what happened.
That's true.
Yeah.
But here's the thing, and I'll probably be, people probably, probably want to get onto me as well. But, I don't see what he's saying is wrong. Like, if you really if you really love your missus, you love your wife, I'm not saying this. Listen, this is what I'm saying. This is what I'm gonna say. This is what I'm gonna say.
Nigerian man.
Wait, listen now.
He's
this is what I'm saying.
That. Wow, it's a big wow.
No, the reason I say this is because it's not an easy thing to do for like when men that it's society tends to have. It's usually the other way. Expectations. But as a man, when another man sleeps with your wife or your partner, usually, they say when a woman cheats, there's usually a lot of emotions attached to it. You know what I'm saying?
Okay.
It's not like the guy just playing around.
When a man cheats, it's usually like
playing
there's
around.
the connection between there and there. There's no connection.
Yeah.
But when a woman goes out and cheat, there's a bit of, so that's why I say
especially a woman in a serious relationship like a marriage.
Yeah. Okay, I feel like 70 or 65% of the time is you have given that woman has reached her limit because usually sometimes women we take a lot of crap. I'll use my family as an example. My stepmother stayed with my dad even after he had 5 kids outside of the marriage, including myself. So, I feel like men should be like this as well when it's on the other foot.
I think each, basically I spoke on 2 different parts there. I think definitely each their own. People in different circumstances. But I feel like, but there's 2 sides I'm seeing is that, look, the man's saying, look, I'm going to take my wife back. If she's ready to stay back, I'd thumbs up to him. I respect him. However, I see the other side and that saying that, like what I just mentioned, when a woman cheats, usually
she's gone.
She's
gone already.
She's not in the. It's not. So you
that
comparing.
That is not true.
No, but you comparing.
That's what we're thinking.
That's what we're thinking. As men,
true.
okay, correct us, educate us.
Okay, let me take my Christian hat off. Okay, so let me tell you guys something. That is not true. We can actually, women are better cheaters than men.
Damn.
That's first and foremost.
Teach us.
And another thing, like I said, 65-70% of the time, it's because we have reached our limit with you. You've given us enough reason to be like, you know what, this guy doesn't even appreciate me. Let me just go teach him a lesson.
Damn.
Do you understand?
But you teaching him a lesson doesn't, and if you're cheating, doesn't, do you want him to find out? Because if you're not teaching him, you're teaching yourself a lesson.
If you find out, that's because a woman wanted you to find out.
Oh.
Yeah. If you find out,
you know what I mean?
yeah, because we're really smart. We think 10 steps ahead. You know, I'm not excusing a women that do it and with malicious intentions. Do you know what I mean? But after you've traumatized someone for so long, sometimes because it's a traumatic experience for somebody to cheat on you. Do you know what I mean? Or give you reasons like maybe you're abusive or you don't contribute in the house or maybe.
Come on, if you're cheating for the not contributing in the house, that's a joke.
Wait.
No, stop that.
No,
stop
there's some lazy men.
No, stop that.
There's some lazy
stop
men.
Stop it. You didn't contribute in the house and you said you cheat on him.
Meaning, sometimes where, especially like, if, how men are prideful sometimes.
Yeah.
So you'll suppress me and be, abusive towards
financial
me,
abuse.
like emotionally, just because I earn more money than you. Do you know what I mean? And that's what I mean when I say contribution. Sometimes lazy men are the most abusive men.
When men do, they leave. The women, a woman leave.
I've seen.
A woman should not be in a relationship with a man that abuses her in any shape, form.
But the funny thing is, I've seen. I had the opportunity to speak to a specialist today on abuse, and I've seen situations where what you said, the laziest cat that's not bringing in nothing. Sometimes can be the most evil guy that you would. I've seen stories in Nigeria where the jobless husband who's at home and his wife is going to work, feeding the whole family, was the one that sadly took her life. I've seen those situations. And then when it comes to abuse as well, the one thing that I've started to learn is that some of the victims sadly in these abuse situations, it's the toughest to stand up and leave.
Agreed.
Because that's part of abuse as well.
That's part of abuse,
Absolutely. You're so right. And I just said just get up and leave. It's not so easy to get up and leave. So but I do feel like, I think even myself, I feel like I need to educate myself a little bit more about what goes on in that play, because I do feel like there are a lot of cases, especially in my country where I'm from, Nigeria, where the man is abusive in that form, where it's not physical at all, but I still don't think that's a reason for you to go and cheat. Okay. That's not a reason for you to go sleep with another man.
Why? Okay.
What?
Biblically, yes, it is wrong. Yeah, it is a sin. You should never step out of your marriage.
I've also said one thing, and I think I would say that clearly as well, is that cheating or stepping out of relationships and marriage, apart from if relationships is a personal offense. It's an offense committed to the person you're committed to. And is nobody else's business. If that person decides that you're cancelled, then you're cancelled for it. If they decide that let's sit down and work through it, then it's their choice. Will and Jada, my brother Sizwe in South Africa, if they decided that they can look past this, this situation, that they love each other. Will and Jada said they'd rather die till the end of time. And they believe that their relationship is gone beyond sex and romantic relationships. Because, according to the interview and the meeting that they had, Jada was getting it on with my boy August.
But Will Smith was doing the same thing as well on the other side before she even had a relationship with someone else.
August was in love. That's
okay. That's a bad part about this whole situation. I feel like a little bit she kind of took advantage of a vulnerable boy because he was sick and he was there looking for help. So but at the same time it's like, you're older.
I think it's unfair to call him a boy though. Vulnerable boy.
He was a
young man.
He was a young man, but he's a troubled young man. You need to remember that when he started making it in his career, his health deteriorated.
His sister died.
Everyone died.
He had problems with his mother.
He had to adopt kids. He's going through a lot.
The funny thing, since you spoke about the fact that he was a troubled young man, he was vulnerable at the time when he claimed or alleged that she basically took advantage of that vulnerability. Imagine if the
wills were
where a man took advantage of a vulnerable.
Oh my days! The backlash would have been crazy.
He'd go to jail.
No, he's old enough.
The backlash would have been crazy.
He's old enough. They wouldn't.
If a man
did the same thing,
in a situation, if Will Smith was in a situation where he had a 27-year-old young lady who was vulnerable, was going through all sorts of trauma, she came to him as a relationship of support.
He'd be fully cancelled.
And mentored, and all of a sudden we find out that he carried on a sexual relationship with.
They were in a relationship.
he be in jail right now.
No, that's not true, guys. If he was underage, yes, but if you over the age of 18, you wouldn't be in jail. I think the backlash would have been even when you are on a hospital bed. If you decide to marry someone, it is in court where they'll decide like, okay, you're not gonna receive the money, but you're not gonna go to jail. You're not gonna go to jail. You people, you like exaggerating.
No,
especially when it comes to women.
Not at all.
We're not allowed to make mistakes.
No, not at all. I do feel like it needs to be looked at like and really assessed on both parties, because I feel like when it's one side, everyone, you know, they don't necessarily look at it in the same way. Like Shopsy said,
he was 27, guys.
If Will Smith had did that, it would have. The cancel culture law would have cancelled him.
Who is coming from?
It'll be a different story.
Her brother just died. Her sister.
But she was also going through stuff. Let's not forget that Jada was also not mentally okay.
Okay. So let's not forget about that. Let's say Will Smith was going through stuff as well. Will Smith was going through stuff for a while.
And he was dating other people. It's just that they never spoke about it because August Alsina exposed Jada about this. But Will also had his own people.
Where did you read that article?
Even on the Red Table Talk, she does say it.
Another thing is, August was the only one we heard because of his status. Yeah. However, nobody said, it's been rumored for over 10 to 15 years that they were in an open relationship.
Yeah.
Both of them were getting it on.
Yeah, both of them were getting it with other people. It's just that, but Will Smith said he was really mad when Jada decided to choose August Alsina. I think it's because they welcomed him for different purposes in the house. Like, we're going to help you with your health, your friend with our son. Do you know what I mean? And then it ended up being
I think you got for me. I respect like how they sat down and had the conversation. A lot of people clowned Will for that, but for me, it's like, look, my man, they got children together, they've built a family together, and clown him all you like. That was a big man.
Especially if you've got your own debt as well. Why would you walk away? But just to bring the point, so if you'd be okay if your wife cheated on you, yeah?
We're not talking about me here.
Okay, so you would need your but if you cheated on your wife, would you expect your wife to take you back?
We're not talking about me here. We're talking about what's happening there.
This is what he said.
Because Caesar Damini, we're going back to Zimo.
Now we're talking about what happened in the story.
Let me tell you what's happening. Basically now, what the conversation he has brought is a conversation that all men would have to deal with individually. However, he's raised a very valid point. That is sex big enough to break a special bond and a long-term commitment? That's the question.
I don't believe
and I think exactly, and I think a lot of people individually would eventually have to come to that conclusion when they are faced with that, because you now weigh all sorts of things, kids, family, that is that big enough? For some people it's like, nah man, peace out. To some people, nah man, we can move past this, and that's it. Well, over to East Africa, Kenya to be exact, where 3 popular radio personalities on Homeboys Radio caught heat for comments they had made about a woman who was thrown off the 12th floor because she refused sexual advances of the man she was with. Shafi Weru and DJ Joe have apologized for what were absolutely insensitive comments they made live on the airwaves. Now, the lady in question suffered injuries that kept her hospitalized for 2 months, and it once again brought up the conversation of victim shaming and promotion of violence against women. Celebrities and government officials have criticized the personalities for their actions, and hopefully, as they say, this serves as a teachable moment for them and other young men. How long are we going to keep allowing people to be irresponsible, insensitive, very silly, with such sensitive... The story goes like this. The lady had gone out with her friend. They had something to drink, enjoyed themselves, and they went back to his apartment. When they got to the apartment, she refused sex, and he threw her out of the 12th floor apartment. She was just lucky that she fell on the 9th floor balcony. That's why she's alive today. But she still broke her pelvis, broke her elbow, broke her this, that. Hospitalized for 2 months because her drunken boyfriend or friend or whatever wasn't happy with the fact that she refused to have sex with him.
So, like, I mean, for one, yeah, that what happened in that situation is absolutely disgusting, man. It's actually disgusting. But I think what we're talking about here is the presenters using that, and this goes back to what we spoke about. You know, being very mindful and thoughtful of how you say things, especially as I'm a presenter on air as well. Being very sensitive and thoughtful, like, you know, how silly can you be, like, to make fun of that situation? There's nothing that can justify you to have a laugh at someone else's expense, especially taking into consideration the circumstances. So, in my opinion, like, once again, I don't even know how much of a teachable moment it is for them. I really hope that they've really learned from this. And, like, you know, sometimes I feel like being on radio, you're almost under pressure to create a situation comedic or hype shit up, but you need to think. You know, so that's my take on it.
Do you know, this is so disappointing, and I feel, obviously, as a woman as well, like, do you know how much we go through? Like, you guys can walk on the street, you know, by yourself without thinking. Like, when I walk from the bus stop to my house, like, and I'm in the UK, but I still think, okay, I shouldn't wear my headphones in. Oh, I should let somebody know that I'm walking home now. Oh, send my location to someone. Wow. Oh, I maybe call a friend while I'm walking. I look behind me constantly. I walk faster than I normally would. Wow. Do you know, there's so many, I put my keys in between my fingers, you know. You guys don't even go through that, you know. Like, I work in a male dominated industry outside of, you know, the entertainment industry, and, you know, people make rude comments to me. If I walk funny, they'll be like, "Oh, who were you with last night?" And they think it's funny, and I always try to educate them and say, like, listen, you know, you'll be making jokes with your friend right here, but you don't know what your friend is going to go and do one day, probably rape someone or be violent to someone, because you guys, when you are in an environment as men, you encourage those type of behaviors. And I'm not going to lie to you, like, I feel like they should be harsher, you know, consequences when it comes to this, because, you know, gender-based violence is so big, you know, especially in Africa, and we don't bring enough awareness. I come from South Africa, where gender-based violence is at a very high percentage, and you know, men will be like, "Oh, but we were just joking." Listen, that's not a joke. It's not a joke. Like, you should be fired. That's how serious, like, it should be. Like, and I'm not saying, like, you know, these people can't learn from their mistakes, you know, but unfortunately, they need to be made an example. And they should be, apologizing is not enough. The woman almost died. She got thrown out. It's not an excuse anymore to say, "Oh, but what was she doing in the guy's house in the first place? And why was she drinking?" Like, you guys, when you get drunk and you go to your mate's house, or even when you go to a woman's house, your first worry is not, am I going to be raped?
Taken advantage of.
Do you know what I mean? That's not your first thing. We have to think of that. You can't dress a certain way. You can't talk a certain way. If you drink too much, then people are going to presume that you are loose, like a hoe, or you're loose, or do you know what I mean? There's just certain things that it's like, it's unfair.
I wanted to staying on the shameful topic. I specifically picked these topics back to back for this reason, for us to be able to dissect it a little bit more, and to use this medium to talk about these things, especially amongst men, and of course a lady. So I said, staying on the shameful topic of violence against women and victim shaming, a video went viral where a woman can be seen assaulted in a hotel room after it was alleged that she had cheated on her boyfriend and was caught with another man. In the video, her boyfriend can be seen slapping the young lady, saying he had the right to cheat because he was a man and the woman didn't. After social media uproar on the video, the lady was seen the following day explaining what happened, where she said her boyfriend had set her up with his friends, recording the encounter and posting it on social media to embarrass her and ruin her reputation. Now that happened in Nigeria. So it one of the reasons when all of these news came this week, I felt we've got to discuss this news. First of all, there's victim shaming. Then second of all, there's gender-based violence. the confidence that these young men had, not only to slap his girlfriend, but to record it, have it recorded, shared on social media as some form of joke or to ruin her reputation or embarrass her. And then the shocking words that came from his mouth to say, I was entitled to cheat because I'm a man, but you ain't because you're a woman. How far is this wound in our society, and how hard are we going to have to work to get rid of this?
I think it's for me personally, like just growing up in Nigeria and like the way the culture is set up as far as, how can someone say I'm a man? I can cheat. What are you talking about, bro? Do you get what I'm saying? So I think it needs to start with education, but from school levels, like I'm saying primary school,
yes,
secondary school. It needs to be,
these
kids need to be educated about, putting a hand on a woman, and respect for opposite sex. And in the same vein, I feel like no one should put any hands on each other.
Anybody.
But it's clear that, we are the dominant sex.
Yeah.
That you putting your hand on a woman,
in front of other men.
What are you doing?
You have to
what justification do you have?
You have to think of the picture. She's there by herself, surrounded by like 4 or 5 other men, one holding the camera, another one slap. So she's already outnumbered. She's feeling insecure and vulnerable. And then they took it further by physically assaulting her.
Her human rights has just been violated left, right, and center. This is atrocious, man. I hate violence. I just hate violence, period.
Yeah.
And can you imagine, even if someone gives you a reason to, like if I call your mom a certain word, that doesn't, you have
walk
to
away.
Walk away, man.
Away.
That's not enough reason for you to start putting your hands on me. Don't. That's human. That's a violation right there and there. And just, now, unfortunately, in Nigeria, I've heard a lot of stories of abusive men or prideful, attacks against women and stuff, and even the parents, we promote when a boy is cheating and doing all these things. You'll be like, oh yeah, that's my boy. Or even if you go and report to your parents, you'll be like, if you report to the parents of whoever you're with, they'll be like, oh, but what did you do? Because this is not our son. Do you know what I mean? So they need to go to jail. All of them need to go to jail.
Yep.
I think there are things that we need to address as well in Nigeria. When we look at, not just Nigeria, actually, Africa as a whole. I think when we look at underage marriages, where the parts of Nigeria and parts of Africa that they still condone, allows that. So that part where the man feels like I own you when I marry you, that understanding that mentality needs to stop, and putting these people, because I feel like when this happens, you're automatically putting a girl who's underage into the hands of a man who becomes the abuser.
Yes.
You become an abuser.
Yeah.
However you want to see it, you become an abuser. So I think these things, they need to educate. I don't know where it's gonna start from. It needs to be an education embedded.
First of all, I agree with the education starting from as young as primary school. I've got a 7-year-old son, and even when he's bickering with his baby sister, I tell him, you don't argue with a girl. That you can't. The minute you raise your voice to a woman, you lost the battle, as far as I'm concerned. There's no explanation that you're willing to tell me. The minute you raise your voice, you've already lost my respect at that moment. And I think at 6 years old, it's not too young to start, because we're looking at a generation of men in Africa that believe somehow they've got a right to do whatever they want to do with women, physically, emotionally, whatever it is. So now we need to address that as young as we can. Second of all, we need to pass a strong message to every single young man out there. It is immoral. It is ridiculous. It is a criminal offense to lift your hand over any woman, period. It doesn't make you a guy. It doesn't make you a man. It doesn't make you a boss. It makes you a criminal that needs to go to jail for a long time, period. And third of all, we need to ensure that the laws do back these crimes. When there's a crime like this committed, people should go to jail. Rape, physical abuse, mental abuse, all of these there should be stipulated, terms in the system that says this is the time you're going to serve for recording a video and sharing it on social media of slapping a woman, having sexual relations with a woman and deciding that you want to go on revenge porn on her. Mm-hmm. That should be a criminal offense as well. Mm-hmm. And people should go to jail for a long time. Mm-hmm. So once people have been made an example of, other people will think about these things, especially the ones that we can't really clear of the evil that's in their mind. They would behave properly and when another opportunity presents itself, and they wouldn't do that type of thing. But I believe we need to catch it young. We need to teach our young brothers, young boys, how to behave. And also we have to find ways to support the young girls and teach the young girls as well the slightest signs that once you see these signs, don't hope and pray. Yeah. Once you see the signs,
but sometimes it's something that you're taught as well from a young age. Like don't raise your voice when the man. And even in my workplace, if I it's my job to tell people what to do, and a Nigerian man will come and be like, "You will never get married."
But I tell you something, I've worked in like local authority for like 20 years. And all of my bosses have been women. And there's no amount of money you'd pay me to ask if I wanted a male boss. I swear to you, all of the women all my bosses have been women from the West Indies, from Pakistan, and they've been, brother, it's been the best time of my life. Because number one, a woman knows what job needs to be done. Will tell you what needs to be done. And most of the time also displays a little bit more empathy than a man does. So when you're not having that great day and they can spot it from afar, knowing this is the unusual Adeshope here, she also has some sort of experience on how to maneuver that. But unfortunately, with some of my encounters with male bosses, they don't give a damn.
So can I just say though, I've worked with some female bosses, that they're savage. Like they worked me to the listen.
They work you to the bone.
They worked me to the bone. I'm saying I'm meant to be done at 5:00. I'm still writing stuff at 6:30. So I've worked, So I get what you're saying as far as like
you to the bone.
However, listen.
There's always. I just believe that when you have a female boss, as long as you're willing to almost match them at that level, there's also a window of a human touch that they come with. Agreed. Maybe it's a natural ability.
Yeah, we're nurturers.
A nurturer. But when it's a man, he don't give a damn. Do you understand?
But it also makes it a bit different because now, especially if you work with men, you also have to be a little bit more like
as a boss.
More assertive.
Because if you're not, then and especially if a man is a little bit attracted to you, or there is an age gap there where you're older than the man, they always feel some type of way. So you always have to nip it in the bud immediately. And unfortunately, I've had to report a few people, and my bosses are males, so they'll be like, "Are you sure? We're a family here. Maybe he didn't mean it like that." When a man gets angry with me and says he threatened to slap me because I told him what to do, do you know what I mean? And it's oh, but we're family, we fight. But if I know for a fact, if a man were to do that to another man, it would escalate. It would escalate. You know what I mean? And I think it has also something to do with the fact that I'm a black woman. And it's not just disrespect from only just our black men. It is Asians. It is white people, and we fight so many different prejudice.
In this said, the black woman has a lot to deal with on their day-to-day life. Not only about their gender, their race comes into play. You know, everything comes into play.
And just saying very quickly, I know you mentioned about being a woman, is something that as a man we will never, obviously, we can never understand. Because you said something, I saw a video on YouTube a while ago of a woman who recorded her encounter walking from one place in New York City. I think she walked about maybe a mile she walked. And the amount of men that whistled and called her and tried to grab her. And that was just her recording her experience. You know, and as a man, we don't understand. Because we never see that. We never get that. You know, so, you know, I mean, I never get that. There's some men that will say that they get approached.
You know, once in a while when I'm walking in my, my shorts and all that, you know.
No, because it's what we're taught. It's like, don't make a move on a man because you emasculate him. Just give him a few signs. You know, give him a few signs.
And he's supposed to know.
It's something that is we're taught. You know,
exactly.
like
That's tough,
you know, always submit, always speak lower, always do this, always. So it's. I don't know.
But I think for a woman, it can be frustrating. I can understand that.
It's
just walking down the street and
frustrating.
every time someone's trying to grab you and talk to you can be frustrating.
I'm a female, and from a young age, obviously, I grew a breast. And it was always men that made me self-aware of myself.
Wow.
At a young age, you know, I was like, I think I was 12. Yeah, 12. And even when I came to the UK, they would stop my mom and be like, "Mom, your daughter."
No.
Even my sisters, when my sister came to visit,
At
you know,
12.
they got big, but don't. My sisters, shout out to you guys.
I will fight.
But like they would be like, you know, "Oh, Mom, you have beautiful daughters." Uncles will come and be like, "Oh, you're looking sweet. You've grown up.
No.
You've grown up." Woo!
I think it's important for guys just to talk
We
to
need
other
to
guys.
learn.
Guys need to guys need to educate other guys. I mean, we need to be able to go out and do research, educate ourselves, but it's important for guys who will be able to identify that, to speak, to hold each other accountable and say, brother, what are you doing?
When we go out,
When we go
when
out and see
people
that,
are pulling people anyhow, just
stop that.
you
Other brothers should.
You could tap her and say hello.
Yeah.
If she's not with it, let her go.
Yeah.
Don't just grab people and act like you own the whole place and stuff like that. So, again,
thank you,
education,
guys.
We're learning.
I'm gonna
We're learning. You know what I mean? We're learning. I'm not gonna lie. We learn every single day. And again, you know, shout outs to my daughter. That's one of my learning blocks. And again, when you have as a man, when you have a daughter, you want the opposite. You want her to be able to walk with a chin up. You want her to be able to speak with confidence. You want her to be a boss. So everything that you might have been taught against other women, you want your daughter to display those things that they don't want you to want in another woman.
Totally agreed.
It's crazy, man. But over to South Africa, your country.
We love South Africa today,
Where this past week, news broke that funds meant for the creative industry at the National Arts Council has been mismanaged in their millions of rands, aka dollars as well. According to a report by SABC, Arts and Culture Minister Nathi Mtewa has announced that the NAC will be taking action against senior officials who have been linked to the funds that disappeared, in quotes. The officials have now been suspended and a full investigation has begun. In the meantime, celebrities like KK and Kelly Kumalo have expressed their shock at the disappearance of the funds, including Kelly Kumalo a couple of weeks ago, slamming the minister previously for their lack of care of artists and creatives during the tough COVID-19 era. The 300 million rands. I don't know how much that is in dollars.
Not even in dollars, in pounds. That's like 150 pounds.
150
million pounds.
What? 300 million rands was set aside to assist artists during the past year, but it looks like those most in need of the support saw nothing from the funds, whilst the officials at the top of the organization enriched themselves. Now, this is a shocking story coming from South Africa, because usually around Africa, we tend to believe that South Africa is more European than other African countries. And due to that perception, that corruption at the level that other countries in Africa experience perhaps doesn't exist in South Africa.
It exists. It exists, and I'm so sick of that narrative. It exists. We've only been free for 27 years, 27 years. That's when we came out of apartheid. We still have a long way to go. Listen, just because white people are not in your countries doesn't mean that your countries are not run by white people who are giving money to your countries for the officials to do corruption. Do you know what I mean? we are living with white people, the white people that you guys say, oh, you people have white people, your country's developed, but we still are going through a hell of a lot. And unfortunately, our parents who were half raised during apartheid and half free, they are corrupt. It's a crab in a barrel mentality. I cannot explain. Like, in a way, I want to call out like Casper and them, because you people hang out with these ministers. You'll be, when it's time to vote for ANC and all these like
do they have a choice though? Sometimes that, obviously some of the entertainers would have a legal right to have a favorite that they want to support.
No. I don't disagree with that, but I'm talking about like parties now. Do you not question yourself when you seeing ministers have big houses, you talking about business, and you're thinking, oh, hold on, what business are you talking about when you work for the country? Don't like when you are getting tenders for businesses. Do you know what I mean? Tenders is something that was started to empower, the black community in South Africa to kind of balance the
disparity.
Yeah. And let me tell you, they have chopped the money. I know people who are like, work for the government, and as soon as opportunities, they eat the money themselves. They give it to their family members. COVID, things were given to they food was, they were giving it amongst themselves here in the office, in the building. Oh no, nobody got the food that was there for people during COVID. So like, corruption is a big deal in my country.
Wow.
It's a big deal. And I feel like other African countries need to stop looking at us as like role models when we are going through a lot.
Boy, this type of story would have been not news if it was Nigeria.
I'm telling you, honestly, like the fact that, I was reading and I was thinking to myself, this happens all the time in Nigeria. It doesn't even make the front headline news. And like you said, like, I think the rest of Africa, because they've got that, it's run by, there's white people in South Africa, there's no corruption. Mate, I don't think there's a single nation where there's no corruption. Yeah. I think there's corruption in every nation in the world at some degree, at some level. Of course, we understand as Nigerians that, as soon as you come out of the airport in Nigeria, someone's asking you for a change, that's a level of corruption. Is that it goes at different levels and different stages. But this, I don't think it's, I'm surprised. I'm honestly not surprised. I'm happy that it's come out, it's come to light, and people can actually speak about it. But, like you mentioned, I feel like these artists like need to be a bit more vocal. You need to be a bit more, you're being vocal now because you see funds that was allocated to you. And I'm not, no disrespect, I'm not calling out any artist.
I love Casper, by the way.
We love Casper, but like, be vocal about the other things that you're seeing about the way your government is run. Don't be pally with a politician today and then say, hold them accountable. Speak, like, look, what happened? What are you doing? What across the board?
That's from Nigeria to South Africa to
everywhere.
Uganda.
Hold them accountable. They're your leaders, not to lead you and run and we're not slaves. You know what I mean? The money's been allocated for something. Where has it gone? Let's see accounts. Everyone, if we really want to get really messy, like, African leaders need to start putting politicians in jail for
being held accountable.
When you're they used to, but they won't do it. They won't create no law to hold them accountable.
They tried to do it a couple of times, but they always reverse.
I saw the politician that was in court and he started crying or he started acting like
he was dying. It wasn't in Nigeria or something. I laughed so much.
He was fainting.
He was fainting. Like what is that? What is that?
There was another one that claimed he's got a spinal cord injury. That video went viral 24 hours ago. When he was in court, he had a spinal cord
out of the blue. Out of the blue.
Do you know, you guys, our ex-president, Jacob Zuma, is still in court till today because of corruption.
Because of the funds that
he's never going to jail. That's the sad part about it. He is rich.
It's unfortunately
his son is even running to be the next president in a couple of years.
It's unfortunate because unfortunately the people that are put in position, are put in power to the system of checks and balances, the judiciary themselves are corrupt as well.
Yeah, they are.
So when you have a system that's corrupt, when you have the legislature that's corrupt, you have the executive that's corrupt, they're all corrupt with each other. No one's holding anyone accountable. So like it's set up to fail, unfortunately. So
so I think you guys should give us, especially South Africa, like a little bit of grace. We are just like you guys. In fact, you guys are far more ahead of us than us, because obviously you guys have had the opportunity to be free for way
50,
longer,
60
50,
years.
60 years. And it's not enough for, like, I feel like South Africa is treated, especially in Africa, as if like,
like it's New York.
yeah, like it's and also sometimes, I don't even know if I should say this, but as a South African, sometimes when I do say like, when there's stuff like,
Be careful, you're on the Adesanya Podcast.
Keep
Everyone's gonna hear it.
yeah, that's something.
Talk to me.
No, like it's like, and I have people around my community that always are like, you can't say that because you're South African, you're privileged. And I'm like, I'm not privileged if I'm not also getting, there's a high rate of people who are not employed in my country, and there's a high rate, you have to pay for education in my country. There's a high rate of people who are not educated in my country. And, that's where ignorance comes into play, with a lot of things. And, when it comes to like xenophobic things that happen, and, sometimes it's propaganda like behind it, but people never think that. They just assume like South Africa has to be crucified. But we're dealing with a lot of things. It's not just like, there's a lot of people who are in poverty in my country, and, and they don't have opportunities. So sometimes when they do complain,
when they see foreigners come and spring up, and that uneducated mind and that oppressed mind now turns into a bit of violence and resentment.
And resentment. And it's just like, especially when it comes to like, I want to say when I was in South Africa, I not that I had a problem with it, because I also grew up with a lot of foreigners, with people like, their parents were doctors, but also I had to realize that, they had a more open mind because they came from different country, and they saw opportunity. Do you know what I mean? So you get comfortable when you're in your own country because you expect your hand out as well. So it's like and okay, I'm in this country now, and currently I want to, there's a brand South Africa here in we have an embassy, we have Africa House, and something similar that's happening in South Africa, unfortunately, is happening here in the UK. And our parents are the ones that are running like South Africa House and all these things,
and the
blah,
young
blah, blah.
people want to step up.
But even in there, there's a little bit corruption. I don't think they realize that it's corruption, but like, there's youth events that are given to old people, 60-year-old. What are you doing?
Running the youth event.
You're running a youth, and we're also not like equipped. Obviously, this is a different country. We're not equipped to know like the privileges that come with being like a South African, or the opportunities that come with being a South African. And then you see someone from Southern Africa get a contract, and you're like, wait, hold on, wait, I thought this was brand South Africa, and how come I didn't know about this? And it's just like, oh, but I want to do this as well. We're not allowed to say anything. We're not allowed to say anything. You're just like, oh, that's xenophobic. We saw the opportunity. It's your own problem that, you didn't get the contract. But it's just like, okay, so I'm not allowed to say anything that I got this contract because you guys see me as privileged. But my family is suffering just as much as your family is suffering from a different country. Do you understand what I mean? It's just how, like,
I think people just...
It's a double-edged sword.
It's a double-edged sword.
I mean?
And I believe that, the government has to do a lot more in empowering the locals. I believe it's a Pan-African issue. That the governments, first of all, have to make sure that the locals in whatever country that they're running are taken care of first. And they are well educated and informed. So when foreigners come into the country, when their neighbors come into the country, you appreciate the fact that you've got all of that now, that you're living side by side, a Nigerian, or you see a Nigerian family that's struggling so hard to be able to send money back home. And instead of you to resent the fact that they're busting their behinds and making money, you should also have that telescope eyes to see that the opportunity that they've seen, maybe I missed it before, and perhaps I could maybe take advantage of it.
Take advantage.
So it's part of education and information. Yeah. And one of the reasons why I chose this final story, staying in South Africa, is because of the apartheid that you said just got eradicated 27 years ago.
That's not long, not long at all.
Yeah, that's not long.
Staying in South Africa for what is one of the most ridiculous things I have seen for a while. Anyway, a video has gone viral after a South African man dressed in traditional Indebele attire was seen asked to leave a shopping mall in South Africa by the manager, and a man who claimed to be the owner was said he spoke to the man dressed in the attire to say he wasn't dressed formally in a suit and tie. In the exchange, the man dressed in the traditional attire can be heard saying, "This is Africa. Why can't I dress like this?" And the other man insisted he left because he felt his clothing was inappropriate. Well, the mall later said the issue was resolved and the gentleman was allowed to continue his shopping, but it begs the question, what is formal clothing in Africa?
That even shows, if you go to South Africa right now, you can't. If you go to a restaurant, the only waiters that you see is black people. If you go to H&M, the only people that are working there is black people. And, white people have the higher,
jobs. Of course, obviously, jobs. Because you said...
Yeah, they have the higher... So, can you imagine, we still have a long way to go. The fact that white people think that they can come and tell us in the country... That is us. We have culture. There is 11 languages in my country. We celebrate, my Zulu side, my Xhosa side, the Sotho side. So, we come from a country that obviously they were trying to oppress us, and we had to learn Afrikaans as the first language. Do you know what I mean? It's just like slavery. They segregated us basically. So, and they stripped us of our identity, and they made us feel foolish. For expressing, our traditional side.
And that's what was shown here with the man dressed in his traditional outfit.
That is wrong. At this day and age, it shouldn't be happening. I mean, I think white people know by now. They are very educated. I grew up with white people as well, and they've adopted even our culture, the South African culture. If you go to a white person right now, especially if they're born in South Africa, they feel like they are from there. Yes. I'm not going to lie to you.
Absolutely, they are.
We've got Spanish, Chinese, Asian,
Portuguese.
We've got people from Portuguese, from everywhere. And, so it is very bad that in this day and age that you won't be aware that first of all, there's other cultures and you need to be welcoming.
Deep boy, I'll throw the question to you. This would also be a problem in Nigeria because at the banks and other formal offices, people are asked to wear the suit and tie.
Suit and tie, yeah.
Is our traditional outfit not formal?
Well, here's the thing. I think it most definitely is formal, but it's not recognized as formal. Now, when you look at Parliament, when you look at the what's it called? The House of Parliament in Nigeria, when you see a lot of the politicians, they have their formal traditional wear. And I feel like, what they do in the banks in Nigeria is that they wear suit and tie Monday to Thursday, and then they call Friday the dress down. A lot of them will wear trad or whatever. But I think that at some level, at some point, we need to start understanding that and take back our culture and understand that formal wear to us, should be our own traditional attire, and the options should be there. Now, when you're looking at banks, some of the banks in Nigeria, I know some of the banks have come from other countries as well and have gone in. And I think that what they need to start doing is they need to understand the places they're settling in. You need to understand the culture. If we go to... they say when you're in someone's land, you understand the norms of that country.
You do what Romans do.
So I think that we need to get to a place now where the cultural attire needs to be understood, and we need to start eradicating this suit and tie business. I understand the suit and tie. If you want to wear a suit and tie, that's fine. And if you think about the weather in Nigeria, what are you doing with a suit and tie?
Suit and tie.
You try. I went to my brother's wedding a couple of years ago, and.
I was choking.
Listen, I was choking. I remember my sister was FaceTiming me and she said, "Are you okay, Dad? Are you okay?" I said, "I'm hot." I had a suit and a tie and a blazer. I just asked my brother that, "Why are we wearing a suit and tie, bro? That the weather is killing me." So I think we need to get to a stage and understand our culture a bit more, understand the weather, understand that, look, cultural and formal wear is not of our continent. It's not of our nation. And we need to start incorporating that more into our traditions.
Listen, on that note, I'd like to say that's the end of this episode of Adesanya Live, the official Afrobeats podcast. Big shout outs to my guests, D-Boy, Diane, Zenita for coming in. I'm definitely going to have you guys come in again. Zenita's got a lot of opinions a lot of opinions to share. But apart from that, you know where to catch us. Please make sure you keep on subscribing, liking, sharing. Put the comments. We appreciate absolutely every single support. We're live here in the Afro Media Studios, and shout outs to production team as well, LM Media, Ayo Maurice, the entire cast behind the scenes making everything pop right here. And until next time, from myself, D-Boy and Zenita, it is peace, and we're out. Right.